Hey everyone, how's it going? What is up? It is me, Twister Windstalker, and today we're going to be talking about Trick or Treat, one of my favorite movies, which is actually an anthology and has some really good actors in it. Dylan Baker, Rachel Yates, Leslie Bibb, and Paquin, and Brian Cox, which that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to watch this movie in the first place when it came out in 2007, was because I was watching True Blood like crazy, and with Anna Paquin in here, I know I said her name wrong a minute ago, I'm sorry, and I was like, yeah, I gotta see this, I mean, this really isn't scary. Some of the stuff in it is actually kind of silly, but I still like it. It's a lot better than the Trick or Treat with Ozzy and my brain just went blank. But anyway, the first thing on here is the introduction, where this woman and guy comes home from Halloween, and the girl is pretty much fed up with Halloween or whatever, and she decides to take down the Halloween decorations. Oh, this is going to contain some spoilers, so if you haven't seen this, you might want to watch this first and then come back, because yeah. So she starts taking down Halloween decorations, and she's attacked by somebody, and her boyfriend or whatever it is asleep during this entire thing. And when he wakes up and finds her, he sees that she's put together like a scarecrow with a lollipop in her mouth that's bitten, I believe it is. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool introduction. I like that. And then the principal is the second one in the series, where this guy that's the principal of the school is having his pumpkin smashed. Well, he goes, gets more pumpkins, have a devious look, and the kid that smashes the pumpkins he finds and busts them and makes them sit there and gives him tells him a story, and halfway through the story he gives him a candy bar. And as he's eating the candy bar and telling the rest of the story, the candy bar apparently is laced with cyanide, and the kid dies, and he starts throwing up blood and puke, and the principal drives him down to the his basement, and he buries, he knows he gets blood and stuff on him, and he goes to the door to give out some candy to trick-or-treaters, and then he goes back and buries the body, and his next door neighbor, he looks up as he is burying the body next to another body, sees his neighbor screaming and everything, and he's like, whatever. And then it shows him later in the house with his son making a jack-o'-lantern, and the son's making a jack-o'-lantern, and he has the kid's head and making him a jack-o'-lantern, and just like, you gotta help me with the eyes. The eyes are the hardest part. And I'm like, okay, because when I was originally watching this, I was like, this is pretty entertaining, but pretty freaking tame for a Halloween movie. And then we go to the school bus massacre revisited, which is basically this guy was driving the school bus with these mentally challenged kids, and they took him out of town because they was embarrassed about their kids. And so the parents, I believe, pays the bus driver to drive them off a cliff, chain them into their seats and drive them off the cliff. Well, these kids decide to collect these, and, this is like the story that's told. And so these kids are collecting pumpkins and everything, and goes to the quarry where this supposedly happens and rides an elevator up. So, it only holds like 3 at a time, so 3 people go up, and they hear screams and everything, and the other 2 go up. Then one stays on the elevator, and the other one goes to investigate. But, the one girl gets, the surprise of their life, and, getting chased, and hits their head on the rock after stepping on their glasses, and finds out that it's a Halloween prank. And then the kids that was supposedly, had been, knocked off into this quarry, starts attacking them, and while the other surviving members are trying to get on the elevator to get out of there, the one kid just says, heh, and rides the elevator down all happy and everything and relaxed, as the rest of the kids get whatever happened to them. And as she gets off the elevator, she sees this little kid in orange pajamas or whatever, with a sack over his head, which is a returning theme throughout the entire anthology. The kid's name is Sam, and he's in all of these at some point. He's the only thing that connects all these stories, because the timeline in this is kind of weird, actually, because some of these happen before others, and it's kind of, it's like switched. I mean, you really have to watch it, because it's like, wow. And I'll get more into that in a second. And then you have the surprise party, where these girls are all dressed up as werewolves. I mean, not werewolves, but in Halloween costumes. And they're going to go to this party and everything. And this one girl hates it because she's dressed up as Red Riding Hood. And she thinks it's in bad taste or whatever. And she's standing there, and this one girl is bit by the vampire. And then she runs away from the vampire. And it's nothing to do with the main story character I was just mentioned. I just want to add this in because I just remembered it. And then she's left leaning up against the building, like, she's passed out and whatever, and the vampire disappears. Well, later on, the girl dressed up as Red Riding Hood is walking through the woods, and she's attacked by this vampire. And the next thing this person in a cloak rolls down and falls onto the ground, and they open it up because there's this party where these girls and guys are at, that her friends are at, and it ends up being the vampire, and the vampire's unmasked to be revealed to be the principal. And she comes out, because there's a line in there that, what big eyes you have, this is heavily based on Red Riding Hood on this one, and and she leans down as she turns into a werewolf, because in this one the werewolves take their skin off to become werewolves. So they're going to, like, some of the original werewolf stories. And so they turn into werewolves. The principal ends up getting it, and all the guys at the party that was thinking they were going to get lucky gets ate. So it's like... And then we have, let's see, where are we? We are at Meet Sam, where the guy that, is scaring kids away and taking their pumpkins filled with candy and eating it is attacked by Sam. And Sam terrorizes this kid because, he sees a whole, this guy, sorry, it's a guy, puts a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns in his yard, which he doesn't like, and then in his bedroom is wrote "trick or treat" a billion zillion times, and he's attacked, and somehow Sam's hand gets cut off something, and then he ends up, and his disembodied hand ends up stabbing the guy, and it's like, and so the hand comes back on the body, and the guy ends up getting a not so lethal stab, and the guy ends up being revealed being the bus driver that drove the kids off the cliff or whatever. And basically the deal with Sam, because I didn't think I mentioned it, is that whenever somebody breaks a Halloween tradition, Sam shows up to fix it. And so the guy that Sam's dealing with ends up being the bus driver. And Sam goes across the yard to take care of the girl that's putting away the Halloween decorations earlier that was in the opening. So you have that. And it's like, oh, And then, of course, the conclusion, the girl with the pumpkins in the wagon from the bus massacre walks by. The girl's now in human form instead of being werewolf form, drives off laughing. And, I mean, it wraps up really nicely. And the kid that was having his dad help him with the Halloween stuff is dressed up like his dad now, not knowing that the dad's dead now. And so yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I would definitely recommend this movie, because I mean, it's one of those you could watch anytime, but it's actually one of my Halloween traditional movies. Because I mean I like watching Halloween. I like watching Friday the 13th. I even sort of like now, because I used to not really care for, still don't really care for Nightmare on Elm Street, because Freddy talks way too much. I just can't. I just like silence from the person doing the stuff instead of just bad jokes. And but I watch it as a Halloween tradition, because I basically make it like, it used to be 24 hours, you know, starting at midnight to midnight on Halloween, but since I have been working, or usually work on Halloween, since Halloween's on a Monday, or I have to act, you know, I don't get to do 24 hours, but I do try to get a full day in of horror movies and all that good stuff. So I would recommend this. This movie is only like 88 minutes, or 82 minutes, which, you know, is like an hour and 22 minutes. And this is a direct to DVD Blu-ray movie. And my copy, I don't know if all of them does have this thing where it says Trick or Treat Season Greetings, which is an animated short that stars Sam. I've watched it a few times. It isn't a favorite of mine, but whatever. So if you haven't checked this out, I would. There's Sam front and center. So I'd check it out. It has a great cast in it. It's actually not really scary. It's more humor. It's more funny scary, I guess. But yeah, check it out. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave comments down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.